I'd love to introduce you to an art piece which I created in the year 2020. Now, out of this artwork, this painting, I'm going to be drawing out a lot of ideas, which as an artist, I had to pass into the artwork and I'll be drawing it out. Now, I'm drawing out these ideas, I'll be revealing to you, which is connecting to the inspirations I had when creating these artworks. Now, one of the factors that is common to over 7.5 billion people around the whole universe is the ability for the human mind to think. Is the ability for man to be able to unravel himself out of problems in a situation. Now, one thing that is predominant about the current global pandemic that we find ourselves, especially in the year 2020, is how many minds, businesses, organizations, they were able to strive by seeking for different ways they could be able to take on their business while still keeping their main visions and missions in place. As humans, there is one central factor that is common, and we must understand that this factor is going to be responsible for the wealth creation that we're going to bring to our world. So what I tried to reveal in this artwork was to present something that could serve as a connecting point, as an imagery to understanding the abilities we have as humans, especially as African youths. We must understand that there are factors that we must dwell upon and capitalize upon with the advantage we have in this our generation. There are things that we must capitalize on to be able to maximize our creativities, to be able to maximize our productivity, to be able to maximize what we bring about through our various skills that we possess. Now, we have a lot in our generation now that are in our advantage, which were not available to our parents and our forebears before now. But in as much as these factors are available, there are also factors that are also going to be serving as distracting points. They are going to be serving as tools and elements of distraction to dissuade a lot from the path that they're meant to be. Now, one of the factors and one of the questions that I like to use in determining the best way of decisions is to ask if the decision that you're going to be making right now is going to be leading you towards your course in the next years. Because one thing that I believe that has become so much predominant in this period and in this generation is that we have a lot of youths that are beginning to take decisions, who have taken decisions or are going to take decisions based on what they want to just satisfy now. But one thing I have learned from history is that if we continue to provide palliative solutions to problems, that means temporary solutions to problems that we know that will reappear in the nearest future, we will definitely continue to find ourselves around a circle. And so what is crucial is that in the midst of all the inventions and creations we have seen in our world, history has told us how great minds have been able to solve problems by the thinking ability they possess. And this is one critical factor that must be used in order for us to bring about the business skills that we possess. Now, every human, which I've come to understand, over 7.5 billion people around the earth, possess business skills in every area. Whether as a sportsman, whether as an economist, whether as an agriculturalist or as a scientist, whatever it is that you are able to exchange for the purpose or for the need of another human, probably as a service or as a product, and can be paid for either to be watched or probably to be viewed or for an exchange as a product, is definitely engaging you in a business skill. So in order for us to be able to bring about greatness into our generation, we must understand the energy that we possess in the 24 hours time frame that we have, and understand that within these 24 hours there are things that we should focus on. There are decisions that we must be conscious of in order to be able to bring about the best of our day. Because I believe that one of the essential questions that should be asked in the decisions that we make is, whatever I'm going to take now, whatever it is I'm going to decide upon now, is it going to lead me towards the future course? Because we must understand that possessing a skill is one thing, but the problem that your skill is going to solve, you need to update yourself on what that skill is going to solve. If you have a skill, you must understand that there's a difference between the problem you can solve now and the problem you could solve 10 years back. So you must be updated on your skill and understand that in as much as humanity needs your skill, whether your service or your product, You must also understand that currently, the level at which humanity needs your skill must be updated. And that is what thing that the global pandemic has proven. A lot of creativities has been born and has proven that there are a lot of things that are going to be rendered redundant. And there are many other things that are going to be rendered more active. Now we can see that proof in the internet. But I also believe that the tool of the internet must be consciously examined. We must be careful of how the internet is going to be serving as a tool for our generation, especially in the African continent. We must understand that this greatest tool that we have could also serve as the greatest point of distraction to dissuade us from understanding what it is meant for. The internet is a means to an end. It is meant to be used to serve a purpose, and that purpose is what is essential. It is what is more crucial. So every time you find yourself around that space, I believe that we should assess ourselves to understanding the informations and the things that are coming against us and the things that are coming at us in different ways, so that we can filter which ones are essential. Because the energy that we are going to be releasing every single day should at least point us towards the direction we are meant to be. If we can invest our energy, our resources, our time in the business skill that we possess, in what we want to bring in exchange for humanity, in exchange for the need in our society, then we can be able to achieve much. And so 3 questions then that I want to leave behind, which I have already shared in the course of the discussion, is 1, from this artist, with the thinking abilities that we all possess, and with the ability for us to work on it day and day, the first question to ask in determining decisions is my decision now going to lead me towards my purpose or towards the future plans that I have? 2, if I make this plan now, and if I decide on the skill that I possess, what problem currently can this skill solve? Not what could it solve before. If I'm a fashion designer, what is the current problem that as a fashion designer I can solve in my work? And thirdly, you must also look at the time frame that you believe. You must be able to have the mindset to say, in the next 20, 30 years, this is how this skill is still going to be relevant to humanity. I believe that this is one of the factors we must understand in the African society. Because if we keep using the same standard of deciding on which skill to possess as it was many years back, we will continue to roll around in circle. So we must understand that the energy we require for each skill must be crucial to what we are going to do in the next 10, 20 years, so that we can effectively maximize our thinking abilities on these areas. In a sense, you know that there are some things you should put in more of your energy to, and there are some other things you should put lesser of your energy to. It's about clarity and discipline. And so I want to leave behind this for you for the week, and we will also love to share some of these ideas from this artist in coming Mondays. And until next Monday again, this is Mitchell James.